This video is about migraines and overcoming obstacles. My migraines were in a way forcing me to stop, to relax, to de-stress. Why, hello there. My name is TJ Shimeld. I am the co-founder and president of VanishingWheelchair.org. Here today to share with you a personal story of my journey with dealing with migraines. And I record this today is actually on World Mental Health Day, and I'm kind of set up what prompted this in my kind of theatrical area here. I was doing a Zoom conference call with a group of college students at the University of North Carolina. And we were discussing some of the roles of the vanishing wheelchair in relation to mental health. And my background is in clinical psychology. I have a degree in clinical psychology, a certificate in community health. And during my time at Tufts University, where I graduated from, I had the great fortune to do an internship at the Mind-Body Medical Institute at Harvard University's Health Services. And during that time is when since high school, I had suffered with migraines. And it didn't happen too often. It's the kind of thing, for those who are not familiar, that began with an aura, which was a lot of times I would have these almost blank spots that would be, when you look at the sun or a bright light. Well, you shouldn't look at the sun, but when you look at a bright light or something and you almost get that after image, that's what it looked like to me a lot of times. I'd almost have like this blank spot that would be the first indication that I was getting a migraine. And that would often proceed then into these kind of flashing lights, and eventually that would all stop for a brief moment, and then the pain would come. And it was so bad, it would often make me throw up. I had to be in a dark room, the lights out. I would have an ice pack, and it had to run its course. So I had thought at the time in high school, I was kind of incapacitated when I would get these. They were something that was inherited from my mother. Thanks, Mom. And she had a medication that she used to take, and when I was younger, I was very nervous about different medications, and finally these migraines were happening, about every other month I would get one. So it wasn't too bad, but when it happened, it was so painful and so hurtful, and the throwing up, it just wasn't fun. So eventually the doctor did prescribe a medication for me, and the medication I had was one of the things, I also worked in a pharmacy, so I know, when you read those pamphlets of all the different side effects and things, that you have to take it with a grain of salt, because they have to list every single side effect. Well, one of the side effects of this particular medication was death. It said it could if people with heart conditions should not take it, or undiagnosed heart conditions, because it may result in a heart attack and death. Well, to me in high school, this was not good news. So when I would get a migraine, it would actually be worse, because I feared taking the medicine that would actually help the migraine, which actually made the whole situation worse, because I was in tears of having to take this medicine because I was scared. So I stopped the medication. When I was in college, again, it was about every other month I would get this, and working at this internship at the Mind-Body Medical Institute, I was introduced to Dr. Herbert Benson, who found the relaxation response. And his work, actually, he found this concept in the same room where the fight and flight response was first recorded and acknowledged. And so the fight and flight response under stressful conditions, our body either wants to fight off whatever it is or to run away. Well, Dr. Herbert Benson discovered the relaxation response, which is the exact opposite of that. And he also found that you could not have that stress response and the relaxation response at the same time. It had to be one or the other. So he studied from a medical perspective prayer and meditation and all of these different ways of relaxing the body, and taught these techniques. And so I was part of a sort of a participant observer of the coursework for the Mind Body Medical Institute at Harvard University's Health Services. So students and professors would come in and learn about how to elicit the relaxation response through different practices of sort of meditation techniques and relaxation and breathing and relaxing the body and these different things. So I was very much on board with this whole mind over matter type thing, and I would try it, and I would still get migraines, and I'd get frustrated, and I didn't want to take the medicine, and I wanted to do this myself, that I could do it. And I went to Tufts University, and so the physician I was seeing there finally said, well, let's just make sure there's nothing going on up there in your brain that's physically wrong. And he sent me into Boston to get an MRI scan done, just to make sure there was no weird things going on in my brain. And I was so fascinated with the results and all the questions I was asking. They actually gave me my brain scan, which was really cool. And when that was sort of the turning point for me, because I thought, this is insane, this is ridiculous, I'm getting my brain scanned, and so that moment turned for me. And now the stresses of school and all of that, to me, I kind of realized that my migraines were in a way forcing me to stop, to relax, to de-stress, because I couldn't do anything else but crawl into bed and try to sleep it off. So my perspective of the migraines changed, that I became very thankful for them, because I knew when it came, and it usually came after the big stressful event, which was always weird to me. I was always trying to figure out, I had studied it, I wrote a paper on it in school, of what triggers migraines and all of these things, different foods to avoid and different things. But, I could avoid those foods and I'd still get a migraine. I could have those foods and still get a migraine. I could try to de-stress and still get a migraine, so there was just no rhyme or reason. So it wasn't until being out in the real world and working in a pharmacy, and I gotta show you right here, this. I wear this all the time, unless I'm taking a shower. This is a amber necklace. And my friend of mine, who was a pharmacy technician, had shared the ideas of amber with me, that it, there's some evidence that it helps babies who are teething, in the pain of teething, if they wear an amber necklace, that helps reduce that, or any, arthritis type things if you wear an amber bracelet. And there are, anecdotal evidence that it helps with migraines. So I started wearing this. I also got a different medication that, finally gave in, realizing that, everything I was trying wasn't working. So I was going to try medicine, which has been a lifesaver at different times. Like, the worst my migraines got is when we were putting together a magic convention type thing, and it was so chaotic and so difficult behind the scenes that the Vanishing Wheelchair was helping organize this, that I was getting 1 or 2 a month, which was just insane. I finally did get some medication that did help. When I'd start seeing those blank spots, I would take the medicine and it would kind of freeze everything there. We found something that worked so well, and really, in combination with my doctor and trying different things. And what was so interesting, once I had the medicine that worked, I actually took one today. I have not had a migraine. I can't even remember. It may be a year or more since I've last had a migraine. With the combination, I really think when I started wearing this, it seemed to reduce the amount, taking care of myself more, doing relaxation techniques. But it was almost like knowing that medicine was there helped me, almost like the placebo effect, that it calmed me enough that I knew I had a way out if I needed. It's okay to ask for help. And I think my personality is that I want to be in control of it. And it was difficult to admit that this was something I couldn't physically control. I had techniques, and then when they failed, I again felt that I was failing. And this has been now perhaps the last 5 or more years of my life that I might get a migraine maybe once a year, maybe twice. That I take those cues now to know when I see that little blank spot starting, and sometimes it's because I'm looking at a bright light, but either way, it reminds me to come back to my breath, and to relax. And that's something too I want to share with you here on this channel, and something we do at the Vanishing Wheelchair Little Theater are taking my knowledge from the Mind Body Medical Institute and what I learned in those classes, and we do different workshops on relaxation techniques. And so look for that here on the YouTube channel as well. Do subscribe, join our journey, pass it along, and we'll see you next time.